Hello class, Alec here again today. We are going to put the two curves together, consumer surplus and producer surplus, and use it to better understand the efficiency of competitive markets. For us, we haven't gotten to competitive markets yet. So what we really need to know here is that firms are basically price takers. They have no market power. They take the market prices given. Okay, so let's go and let's look at, we have a supply curve and a demand curve, upward sloping supply curve, downward sloping demand curve. Where they intersect is what we call the equilibrium price and quantity. It's the market clearing price. Uh, and you can see here is that let's look at, let's talk about consumers. We know that consumer surplus, or the demand side of the market, we know that consumer surplus is the difference between the height of the demand curve and the price that must be paid. And you can see that area would be bounded by this top triangle here, right there. That's consumer surplus. And producer surplus, on the other hand, is the difference between the supply curve, the minimum acceptable price that sellers are willing and able to accept, and the price in the marketplace. So we can see that right here is, let's use purple. That's this triangle bounded above the supply curve but below the price, and this is producer surplus. You can see there's only one price quantity combination that maximizes both consumer surplus and producer surplus. So these are maximums. Okay, that is efficient. Okay, the net benefits, here's another way to say it, is the net benefits to society are maximized. So when we find that, and remember, we've talked about this before, I'm going to put a star on Q to show that it's the optimal amount of output. And we can think back to um, our discussion of marginal benefit and marginal cost, have that in the background, and you can see here Q star, or the optimal quantity, is where marginal benefit is equal to marginal cost. Remember, if marginal benefit is greater than marginal cost, do more. If marginal benefit is less than marginal cost, do less. And we can see that in the two models below. This top model is explaining this very important notion of optimal or efficient level of output, in this case Q. So now we come down and say, what happens when we don't produce enough? Let's pick a point. We'll call it QL, Q less, a point less than Q star. Run it up and we can find out, why is this suboptimal? Because notice what happens here. The benefits, which I'll shade in blue, is this trapezoid right here. And we'll just call this total benefits. The total costs, which I will shade in red, is bounded by the supply curve on the top and the horizontal distance between QL and Q star E. And you can see that this is total cost. So any point to the left of Q star, the optimal level of production or output, will yield an inefficient outcome because there are foregone net benefits as measured by consumer surplus and producer surplus. We can do better. What's the solution to this? Produce more. Now we go to the lower right hand graph, and we say, okay, what happens if we go to the Q morph? Yes, that's a word. The QM level of production or level of output. You run that up, and let's compare benefits and costs. Benefits are bounded by the demand curve on top and the horizontal distance between Q star and QM. Here is total benefits. Costs are bounded by the supply curve and the same horizontal distance. And you can clearly see here that, let's write this out and I'll go back, and total costs are greater than total benefits. Back here we have total benefits were greater than total costs, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But let me finish up the lower right here. Is that if the total costs of doing something are greater than the total benefits, then don't do it. In this case, we're going to have foregone net benefits equal to the triangle foregone net benefits. Now remember, net is the difference between benefits and costs. On a net basis, society is worse off. The solution for this is to produce less. Another way to look at this, and I'll briefly talk about this, is that you can see here, we talked at this top graph about marginal costs and marginal benefits. Let's bring that down here, and you can see here, here is marginal benefit, here is marginal cost. When you have that difference, it says do more. Okay, you want to move to the right and capture these foregone net benefits. On the lower right, we can see here's the marginal cost, here's the marginal benefit. When marginal benefits are less than marginal cost, you want to move back to the left and do less. Okay, we talked about that before. This foregone net benefits in each instance is what economists call a dead weight loss. Last thing I'm going to ask you is that if competitive markets yield efficient outcomes, then what's the role of government? It becomes an issue of, up here, efficiency versus equity. Maybe the competitive market will yield an efficient outcome, but is it fair? Okay. And then, well, now next we'll talk about various types of government intervention in the form of price ceilings and price floors. Talk to you later. Bye.